Welcome to Dip a Toe, your friendly gateway to crypto, one easy step at a time. Tonight, we're dipping into the XRP Ledger with an absolute game changer. We're shining the spotlight on Fabio Marzella, co-founder and CEO of XAO DAO, the pioneering for-profit DAO on the XRP Ledger. It's all about that simple one XRP, one vote power, tapping Ripple's 1 billion XRP grants to fund killer community projects, drive DeFi, and evolve the ledger. No extra tokens needed.
Or required. With 2 decades in fintech and a seat on the prestigious, in my opinion, XRPL Foundation Board as a founding member, Fabio's turning big vision into actionable wins. We'll chat about DAOs for all you beginners that don't know anything about DAOs. We're definitely going to touch on that. We're also going to be dropping XRPL's hidden gems, and there's something I can't tell you because it's so secret. We're inside, but we can't talk about it. But be on the lookout for that news that I cannot share. So whether you are just dipping your toe or you're cannonballing in, this episode is your splash zone. So let's ripple the waters.
Let's go. Welcome to Dip a Toe. How you doing, Simon?
I am doing super fantastic for a fantastic Friday or Saturday, depending on where you're at.
Well, we welcome everybody for coming to this special 1-hour episode of the Dip a Toe Show. This is, please like, share, and subscribe. Share this out. This is going to be a great interview. Tonight, we're welcoming Fabio Marzella of the XAO DAO. He is a trailblazing leader in the XRP Ledger ecosystem, renowned for his visionary work in decentralized governance and community-driven innovation. As co-founder and CEO of XAO DAO, the world's first for-profit decentralized autonomous organization built for the XRP Ledger, Fabio champions the one XRP, one vote model that empowers holders to fund projects, propose changes, and shape the ledger's future using Ripple's 1 billion XRP grants, all without introducing a new token. He's also a founding member and board of directors representative for the XRP Ledger Foundation, alongside Ripple, XRP Labs, and XRP Ledger Commons. He bridges institutional and grassroots efforts to fuel XRP Ledger's growth, drawing on over 20 years combined in fintech, trade, and blockchain event management. We are absolutely thrilled to have him here today, unpacking XAO DAO and its game-changing potential for XRP holders and builders across the XRP Ledger. Fabio, welcome to Dip a Toe Show. How are you this evening?
Thank you very much. Thanks, Melissa. Thanks, Simon, for having me on your show. Much appreciated.
Welcome to the show.
We love it. We love it. Thank you very much. because this is a 1 hour show, there's tons of questions. I'd love to start out by asking you to give our audience a little background about yourself. What is your history here with?
So just to be quite open about it, I'm not a tech. I'm not a developer. I eventually fell into this ecosystem thanks to my 16-year-old son 3 years ago, where he said, "Dad, we need to invest some money into XRP." One thing led to another. We saw the potentials, but also we saw the downfall of individuals not knowing how to get into the spaces and how to get into the crypto market. So we decided to set up a non-for-profit organization called Wave of Innovation in Australia. And last year we did the first, and I think was the biggest event for the XRP holders, where we had numerous well-known figures. And I think that was the springboard for myself, obviously, to continue that journey. And yes, well, what we are here today, we've actually establishing a DAO. Like you mentioned, I'm on the board of the XRPL Foundation, new foundation. So yeah, things are happening and moving fast.
You didn't dip your toe; you kind of cannonballed into it. Is what it sounds like. What is some of your past history, your expertise, so to speak?
So studying the banking industry. So I was in charge of was back then an international Italian merchant bank in Australia, and I was in charge of the trade finance department. So I was quite rubbing shoulders with the SWIFT system back then. So that's probably the closest I would have got at this stage within the system that we currently using with the crypto. But I was trade finance, obviously managing director of various manufacturing companies, German, Italians. So cultural background, and I guess that's where my strength comes from, a community-minded person, and that's, I think the XAO DAO fits quite to my liking, purely because I can be cultural sensitive when it comes to the community. So and the XAO DAO that we have developed, it's a worldwide, obviously it's worldwide use, but we want to actually capture every single community in every single country in the world, and I think that can be done very easily.
Fantastic. One of the things that we've always talked about on Dip a Toe Show, when it comes to the innovation and the mass adoption of all the people that are building in decentralized finance, is that you need to have the expertise of the traditional finance along with the technical expertise of the blockchain. And so this is kind of marrying those two. And so that was one of the things that really piqued my interest when it comes to the XAO DAO. For folks that have never heard of a DAO before, can you explain in simple terms, like, is this just a fancy club or is it something more than that?
Well, you can think of a DAO like a club, all right, but with superpowers. So instead of one boss, like a traditional company, you actually have got members who make the decisions. So they vote on rules, they vote on funding, the role of how the DAO spends their money. So, and that's all done through enforcement automatically to its software. So, yeah, in a nutshell, it's a community that runs this DAO fairly and without needing any single leader.
Okay. So it differs from a traditional company because it's autonomous and decentralized. What actually makes it decentralized? Can you?
Yes, correct. It runs on the blockchain, so through smart contracts. So instead of having managers or board members, it's autonomous because the rules and actions are automated by codes.
Okay. And so, Simon, do you have a question?
Sure, I appreciate that. So the members then can vote on numerous things, one of them being new codes or actions to adopt in that going forward in a way?
So not on the code. So you're talking about the validation part of it, things, the validators.
Okay,
Simon. So no, that's basically left to the validators. Communities members cannot vote on making amendments to the ledger. That's quite clear. These are virtually the DAO. It supports developers with project that they want to launch. So to give you an indication, let's say, and this is virtually a common thing, I guess. Let's say you want to provide toys or kindergarten facilities, and this can be a true proposal, by the way. So the members, actually, you got a member proposing to have a new kindergarten and new infrastructure for the kindergarten. Well, the proposal gets put onto the XAO DAO. The members will vote yes or no for that proposal, and at that point, on top of that, then obviously will be the funding part of it. So the XAO DAO that it's created is not purely just for developers. It's not purely a tech DAO. You can have anything proposed. Then it's up to the developer to make sure that they're out there promoting their proposal to the community. So when it comes to voting, obviously the proposal passes.
Okay.
Yes.
Does the XAO DAO run an XRP Ledger node, or do they have intentions on running a node if they don't?
At this stage, we are not considering something to that effect. We still want to make sure that the XAO DAO, first of all, it's the proposal part of it, or the voting and the governance part of it is down pattern, and then we can move on to that. Again, anything that the XAO DAO does, I know you mentioned, I'm the CEO. Believe it or not, there's no CEO in the DAO. There is managers, and currently the managers is myself and Santiago. So in the DAO that we have, which is obviously the first legal LLC DAO registered in Wyoming, you will have managers virtually to run the show, but the decision remains with all the members. So if the members believe that I'm not doing a good job, they can actually vote me out.
Yep.
If they believe that I'm doing a good job, well, obviously they can keep me on board. So that's how it's going to work, and that's the fairest part of it.
Okay.
So let's take something from our current system, right?
Yep.
Where you have like stakeholders in a company.
Yes.
Okay, at least here in the U.S., I know it can be different, a little bit different rules for different jurisdictions, but those stakeholders could vote on things as far as maybe leadership. You're talking about if membership wants to vote you out. Is that kind of the same? A little bit of the same thing that's going on here in a way, just to kind of drive the point home, just so people kind of get, well, if you're a stakeholder over here, if I was a member over here, that's kind of what I'd be doing, plus different ventures, projects, etc.
That's correct. I mean, so once you become a member of the XAO DAO, you in effect, you're a shareholder. So you own a piece of the DAO. And you're entitled to obviously vote, and you're entitled to vote on proposals that people put through, or internal issues within the DAO itself, or within the LLC. Right. So yes, correct. And like a traditional corporate company, you're entitled to obviously receive profits at the end of the financial year, provided that the DAO has obviously made profits. So yeah, in a sense, that's basically correct what you're saying.
Fantastic.
Perfect. Thank you.
This is kind of a funny question, but there are some common misconceptions around DAOs. Like, people think that they are run without any human involvement. They think it's all robots doing it. Can you clear some of that up?
No, definitely not. DAOs are not fully automated. That's definitely a misconception altogether. It is people that actually run the show. The members run the show. There's no one in charge. There's no CEO. There's no rug pulling, especially with our DAO, because there's no token. The only risk for a member is your $10 of membership, right? So that's total misconception of what people believe on DAOs. Having said that, there may have been DAOs out there which obviously different structure that what we have. The reason of our structure was purely to be an LLC, and I'll give you a very brief scenario here. If you do have a DAO that is not registered as an LLC, you will not be able to open up a bank account. And the reason is because obviously opening up a bank account, you need signatories. So if you imagine a DAO where you have 25,000 members, how and who's got to make the decision to sign on behalf of the DAO? All right. So it has to be legalized, and the banks will not recognize that. So whereas with the LLC, obviously that's the criteria that we've actually introduced. There is, there is governance, there is the operating agreement, there is a bank account, and the signatories to the bank account as well. So that what makes us somewhat different than other DAOs.
Someone did have a question in the audience about, as far as so you're registered in Wyoming as an LLC. Are you registered in Australia as well, or just in the United States?
No. We only need to be registered in one country. So, the reason why we chose Wyoming is because virtually they got the footprint and the criteria for DAOs. So they're probably the only country in the world. There is other countries. I shouldn't say that. There are other countries there. However, it makes it easier to have, my co-founder as well, Santiago, based on the East Coast, and obviously, having close tiers with, with the local legalities anyway.
Sure. Yeah, and you have a champion for crypto there in Wyoming as well too. So. That sounds like an intelligent place to register in Wyoming.
That's right.
Well, okay. So hopefully we've kind of touched a little bit just on basically what a DAO even is. I want to kind of dive more into the XAO DAO itself. So it's the first DAO built right for the XRP Ledger. You kind of touched on your eureka moment earlier with your son telling Dad you need to buy XRP. But I wondered if was there specifically a light bulb moment for you where you wanted to create this DAO on the XRP Ledger? Was it the community? What actually attracted you to?
So that's where. Yeah, correct. Thanks, Melissa, for that. That's a perfect question, because that's actually where I came up with the DAO, where you've got developers, and I can probably put the question back to you. If you have a developer at the moment, where is that developer showcasing his project?
Right.
How does he do it? So you would need to go eventually on X, or you would need to go the mainstream and trying to promote it that way, but it will be promoting it to the community. So one thing we saw is, developers are not getting the support because there's no support there. So the DAO can do that. Secondly, we found out also the venture capitalists, we are willing to give money for projects. Well, they did not have, again, another platform where they could showcase or see what projects were available. Again, the DAO will be able to do that. So the DAO, the way the DAO is going to operate, and this is actually through a portal, is you actually can see projects that are currently outstanding or currently up for voting. And so anyone can see it. And obviously interested parties, the investors, also can see that as well. And that's something that we needed to have this sort of port of call for the developers and for the other community to do it. Now, one thing that I want to correct as well is, and probably this is a misconception, is you mentioned something about the 1 billion XRP for grants. So the XAO DAO runs, and it needs to run on its own 2 feet. We don't rely, and we will not rely on Ripple or anyone else that can sustain the ongoing efforts of the XAO DAO. The grants will be funded by the XAO DAO, unless there is an opportunity for the new foundation to provide us with some funding for grants, which obviously we might see a proposal that it's well beyond our capabilities. However, it's well worth funding it. Then myself, as representing the community on the foundation, will approach the foundation and request to see if they can support us. But that's the good thing about the XAO DAO, because a lot of people think that we're still controlled by Ripple or by... We're not. Definitely not.
Well, I'm really excited. Just even what you said, using it to really showcase the builders in the XRP Ledger community. That is a huge part of the Dip a Toe show. That's what we do. We have a series the third Wednesday of every week where we call it Faces of Crypto. We spotlight a lot of those builders. A lot of our guests are people that are, working hard, building real world businesses on the XRP Ledger. So it will be exciting, and hopefully we'll be able to get some suggestions from XAO DAO for some future guests, and also shows like Coffee and Crypto with Stone every morning, Monday through Friday. They're always talking to the people that are building different things in the space. And so, yeah, I'm super excited to hear about this coming about, because it is needed. Just a whole nother level of eyes and funding opportunities for these folks that have been pretty much dedicating their lives to this and not getting paid at all. They're using their own money, struggling. So I am super excited that you guys are figuring this out and bringing this to the table for everybody to join. Simon, did you have another question for him?
Not a question, but just a thank you for talking about the importance of the LLC and a DAO, and why that's important. This to me is something that I think we're all trying to do, or rather we see the value where we are going from traditional system and we're graduating some of that and getting rid of some of the inefficiencies or red tape and bringing legitimacy to this technology and leveraging it. So it can be as transparent as we would like something to be. And doing that, I say thank you for that, because for the Dip a Toers out there, when they are doing their own research, what is a DAO? Well, hey, maybe look to see if there's an LLC behind it. That might say, okay, there's some legitimacy there. This isn't smoke and mirrors per se.
Correct.
So thank you.
Pleasure. Thanks for that. I mean, there's a lot of and I'll probably give us a bit of a little scoop after, Melissa, as we got down through about talking about the DAO. Given the fact that you got the right platform for the newcomers into this environment, after the XAO DAO, we are developing something else, and I can discuss that quite openly with you shortly anyway about it. And I think it will be quite exciting, not just for the XRP community, but actually for everyone within the ecosystem.
Sweet.
Nice.
Yay.
So remind me.
I will remind
Okay.
you, because we like the scoops here on the Dip a Toe
Yeah,
show.
we like the scoop. We like the exclusives, broadcasting live to 29 different countries on IMU TV. Let the world know at the end of the show. Melissa, go ahead, take it away. You're doing a great job. I'm loving your questions.
I was just thinking to myself, did he answer why you chose XRP? Like, what stood out to you the most about XRP and the XRP Ledger when you first started thinking about doing this XAO DAO?
Well, I think it was like joining, being the managing director of Wave Innovation and get into the XRP family back then, in 2022, 23. I think it just sort of was molded in me to do that. So, and I think with the right caliber of people that I've actually rubbed shoulders with, it made it quite easy for us to utilize the XRPL mainnet to do this. But at the same time, we identify that we're not the only ones that are in this situation where developers don't know what to do. So that's where, after the XAO DAO, we'll be launching XAO Hub.
Oh.
And the XAO Hub is a matchmaking platform. And the matchmaking platform works where you got developers that don't know how to pitch their project, and we can matchmake them with marketers, with mentors. They might need funding, we matchmake them with venture capitalists. And the XAO Hub is virtually funded only by way of matchmaking. So once you find your matchmaker, you pay a fee for the matchmaking. Our project or our intervention only stops there. We don't actually get involved into the negotiation stages. It's up to the individual to do his research to make sure that it matches with whatever matchmaker is done. And those funds become XAO DAO treasury funds. So that's virtually an income stream for the XAO DAO as well.
Nice.
That's open to all the ecosystem.
That's fantastic. Melissa, continue. Otherwise, this will be a 2-hour show.
Well, we're doing good.
We're gonna have them back for that. That's really
Go
cool.
for it.
We are right on schedule.
Go for it. Go, Melissa. Go.
All right. So I'm going to kind of flip flop. Well, I guess we'll just do it. Walk us through how someone becomes a member of XAO DAO. Is there a wait list, which I know there is, I already know. Yes. And once they get in, like, what do they do? Like,
once they get in there, obviously link their wallet to the by using, at the moment we're using Zaman or Bifrost, and they pay the $10 fee, which is virtually paid in XRP. So obviously, depending on what the price of the XRP is at the moment, obviously they don't pay the full $10. They only pay about around 3 XRPs to that effect to make up the $10. We will then mint an NFT on the XRPL mainnet. And that's the only time that we actually see who the member is. We don't know who the member is, so there's no KYC initially, okay? And I say initially, I'll tell you why. We don't touch the XRP. We don't touch the wallet. We don't have any control whatsoever. The NFT is purely there because what's going to happen is that's where we have the voting cap when they have to vote. So we virtually take a snapshot of the wallet holdings to virtually see how much XRP they've got. And that's virtually the voting, I guess, quantity that they can vote capped. The other side of the coin is we will also take a snapshot every month of the wallet to see how many XRP they've got, and then take an average at the end of the year to pay profits to them based on the average. So the more XRP you have in your wallet, the more profits you're bound to gain. Again, that's capped. And the more XRP you have in your wallet, the higher you can actually have a voting sign into proposals. Again, that's capped. And I think just to get your audience understand, the capping is purely to make sure that everybody within the community, it's not been unfair done by virtually having whales coming in and dictating how the proposal should be going, yes or no. So it's the fairest way of going to a voting structure.
So let me get this right. My first question is, it's $10 to join. Is that $10 a year, $10 a month, $10 forever?
Again, at the moment it's $10 perpetually. So there's no further payment. There's already been members out there or potential members that eventually they want to change that. They eventually want to say, well, the XAO DAO should actually get this $10 every year. I said it's not a big task, so they want to already put a proposal. Again, we don't dictate. We needed to set some ground rules, which we did. Then it's up to the community how they want to go forward with that.
Yeah, once everybody gets it. And so then so as one person, one wallet, I can buy one NFT to establish my.
You don't buy the NFT. The NFT gets minted automatically once you become a member. So your $10 is virtually your, I guess, acceptance of becoming a member. And then it's up to you if you want to vote. You don't have to vote. You can just be a member, support the I guess the ecosystem, but just become a member. Or because you've got so much XRP that you want to see the XRP there, not doing anything. You want to make sure that it generate some income for you at the end of the year. So you probably support the DAO in different ways. And at the end of the year, again, you can benefit from that. So you don't have to be active. I mean, we like everyone to be active and vote on proposals, but yeah, you don't have to be active if you become a member.
But you can only become a member once, right? So
okay, so
that's what, I guess I'm missing how the whale, what the cap is to prevent the whales from coming in and dominating.
All right, so the cap is virtually at 0.1% of the total membership holdings within the XAO DAO.
Okay.
Okay. What a whale can do, however, and that's been made quite obvious, I'm not saying something that I shouldn't say, is the whale may split his tokens into 20 different wallets just to gain more more power. It's good for the DAO because every wallet has to pay $10. If they want to do that, obviously they're not doing the right thing by the community. Right. But then again, it is a fair. However, at the end of the financial year, only one wallet will gain the profits. So whilst individual may be able to gain more voting rights at the beginning, comes at the end of the year, only one wallet of those 20 will actually be able to ascertain the profits, and that's where the KYC. That's the only time the KYC it's implemented or to that effect, and purely it's not something we wanted to implement. It's virtually by law.
And and from there, right? You mentioned that he or she has a bigger bag, receives within the DAO, receives a little bit more in return. So, so since they're dividing and trying to conquer the voting, they're still only going to get one of 20 based on how much XRP is committed to the DAO, and their return would be still insignificant to what they're trying to achieve in a vote.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, cool. I like that.
Christian says, and you kind of answered this, but I'm still a little bit unclear how it works. Do the DAO members earn any profits from the DAO, or will all funds be used for grants and further other activities? So how does that kind of get broken down from
good question. Yeah, good question. So at the end of the financial year, there will be a percentage, and this is in the operating agreement, a percentage of those profits are retained in the treasury for the running of the DAO or the LLC. The remainder of those profits, it will be up to the community to decide what they want to do with those funds. So do they want to pay those profits to the members, or do they want to reinvest those funds within the DAO for other projects? So I know you're going to have upset people because people are probably keen on to receive some dollars at the end of the financial year. But again, that's why we're transparent. We don't call the shots. It will be the actual community to do it.
Nice.
Sorry, I'm laughing. I just had a thought. I'm like, so all of you XRP holders out there, you're going to get real cozy and cuddly with your XRP community at a global level to make good decisions going forward. This will be a test of your spirit, my friends, and you can do this. I love it.
So basically, the XAO DAO uses the XRP holdings. One XRP equals one vote. Is that correct?
That is correct. Yes.
And then you're doing that with the snapshot of the wallets. So how is it going to work in practice? Like, are there going to be several votes during the year, or is there going to be like timed out votes for different things, or are they just going to pop up and the people that are part of this DAO are going to have to be like on it so that they can know that they're going to vote?
Because we're human beings and we're lazy, we will actually promote every time there's a proposal on the DAO. So we'll use X, we use LinkedIn, we use Facebook, and virtually just let them know that there is a proposal being launched. There will be one proposal per day allowed. So there won't be 1 or 2, 3 proposals for it. So it will be one proposal per day. The individual will have 3 different types of days that he can actually launch the proposal, or how long the proposal should stay on voting. So 14 days, 30 days, 60 days, and it will be then up to the community to make sure that they look at their proposals and vote accordingly. You cannot vote. Let's say you see a proposal today, and you want to become a member, you missed out already. You would not be able to vote on that proposal, because we don't want to virtually take the opportunity for members to not to be able to vote on something and someone else just comes in just because they feel like coming in today and vote on that proposal because it's his buddy. So they need to be a member before the proposal actually it's available on for voting.
That makes sense. Circling back to the earnings, Kristen asked, what if the person is under the 1% but wants to keep their XRP separated in different wallets for security? Can they earn on all of the wallets as long as they're under 1% combined?
No, only one wallet that has the NFT is the wallet that actually would be able to be claimed for profits.
Which, yeah, okay, and that's the one that's going to be tied to the KYC as well.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
So they're going to do the KYC for that particular wallet and vote, I guess NFT, right? That's going to tie them to that. And whatever's in that wallet has to be 1% or less, right?
That is correct.
Yeah. And so it doesn't matter. So which is another way of, that is the way of preventing somebody that is a big old whale, because they're not, even if they are, they might be able to vote, like you said, but they're not going to be able to earn a bunch of money off of this DAO by separating into a bunch of different wallets.
That is correct.
Which is what people like to do. They like to play little games with who they are and whatnot.
We're expecting, obviously, people trying to do something like this. We can go down to the forensic way of identifying if people are doing that occasionally or habitually, and obviously there is provision with the operating agreement to reprimand those kind of individuals.
Yeah. I also saw somebody in the chat say, now is the time, join the wait list and get in. Well, it is $10 because, we've seen it before where certain things are formed. And once the people are in, they're like, this should really be, this much money. So I'm wondering if those of the 373 people that are watching get on your wait list and then boom, they're able to join once you go live, will they forever be members of this XAO DAO, even if they change the price for new people going forward?
That again, I don't make that decision.
You don't know, right?
The community will decide that. That's the concept of getting away from the common structure of a company where the CEO makes the decision. No, we just, myself and Santiago, are the voice of the DAO. I'm the voice of the community on the ledger, on the new foundation. So at the end of the day, if the community wants to increase the $10 for the following 12 months, so be it. Obviously, we discussed this already in the operating agreement that the $10 can stay in place for at least the first 12 months. If the community believes that the DAO needs more funding, so be it. There is other ways for the DAO to make passive income, apart from what we discussed before about the XAO Hub. The XAO DAO will look at every single proposal, and if we believe that the proposal has got legs to grow, the DAO will take 10% of that proposal going forward. So whatever money that proposal makes or app or whatever they're going to launch, the community will benefit because that money will come back into the treasury. So we will support that individual. So it would be like little white angels, if you want to call it that, and actually promote those projects for them going forward.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah, that's really great. So to put it into some very Dipito language, the voice of this DAO is really kind of the hired help. The power is within the community. All the members. This is a game changer. This is returning the power back to us, and these smart individuals like Fabio here and Santiago are executing on our behalf and our choices as one community. So rewind that, listen to it again, because there's power in that, people. I'm telling you, this is fire. Absolute gems right here, ladies and gentlemen.
Before we move on to the last segment, one thing I noticed too is that XAO DAO uses both the XRP Ledger mainnet and EVM sidechain, which is the Ethereum virtual machine,
Ethereum.
right?
Correct. Yes.
So for beginners and Melissa, what does that mean? How does that make things more powerful for this XAO DAO?
Well, apart from the fact that the XRP Ledger doesn't have smart contracts, and the XAO DAO needed the smart contracts, and I'll give you the two scenarios. So the mainnet is basically for the issuance of the NFT, and that's linked to the wallets of the members. And the EVM sidechain smart contracts is basically the mechanisms for the governance. In other words, for reading those wallets for the voting and for the profits. So you needed those two together, and together they are virtually fast and flexible. And we get the best of both worlds.
Is there an age limit for membership?
Well, I don't know. Do you know why?
We don't know.
Yeah.
Because it could be the community, right?
Well, no, because it's anonymous. We don't even know who the members are.
There you go.
Yep.
So you as long as you're able to get eventually, when you have to get your profits, if you're going to go down the path, you got a bank account, and you've done your due diligence and whatever might be the case. I know in America they have to issue a K1, I believe, for income. So if as long as they can do that, they can just be as young as they can be, I guess.
Fantastic.
Yeah, we don't know who the members are.
I think it is hard at some point for people to wrap their minds around this when it comes to autonomous and decentralized, and we're all dipping our toes into things that we're not used to, right? And so you're asking those old questions of how things normally work, but we're diving into something a little bit different. And so, when you get the answer of, I don't know, a lot of people are like, well, what do you mean you don't know? But then you're like, but I don't know because I'm not supposed to know. So it's pretty comical and interesting to say the least. Optimistic Prime wants to know, how are you planning on taking the votes?
So the votes are taken on chain. So when you actually go onto the webpage and you virtually have the proposal in mind that you need to vote, you link your wallet, and that's where the snapshot gets taken of your holdings. And that's where the voting power. So there will be a meter within the actual webpage that will tell you how much voting power you have. So one good thing is that no members will be able to know how the voting is going. Yeah, they don't know if that's a yes or no. They will virtually say 56% achieved or 30% achieved. Obviously, we don't want to deflate anyone that is coming in to vote and find out that 50% have voted no, and 25% have voted yes, and there's no chance for someone else to even to vote yes. There's no chance for them to get this proposal through. So we just wanted to be fair on the community as well, to virtually say, okay, this is virtually where the voting is at this stage. Once the voting it's finalized or it's finished, then they will be able to identify how many yeses and no, but only after the voting is closed.
Fantastic.
Fair. It's the fair.
Yeah, it's very fair. Very fair. I like that. Very, very much.
I mean, whenever you're thinking about trying to organize a group of people and to make things the most fair that they possibly can, it's a challenge because everybody, people have different ways of thinking and they're wanting to do it or whatever. But when you have like a large mass and they're able to vote, it ends up being what it is, right? Like majority rule, like truly majority rule.
Yep, exactly. And I think that's why the DAO is important, because once you actually cast your vote, you can't retrieve it. That's it. If you say yes and you change your mind afterwards, well, too late.
Okay.
That's what makes it fair. You can't retrieve your vote.
Yeah, there's no bullying. Although I will say, I know a little bit, not a lot about, how the validators on the XRP Ledger, Lady K was kind of going over that with us. Where there's the amount of time that they can vote, and then they can change their vote before, they have a little bit of time to learn a little bit more. Sure. But this is, I guess once they've submitted it, they can't, once that window closes, the time window closes. Right. But this is going to be you better be sure how you're voting, because once you vote, it's on chain and it's voted. Correct? Oh, did we lose him?
We frozen there?
No.
Oh, I thought he.
Okay.
Okay.
It looked all good on my end, everybody. So everybody was moving, and I can hear everybody. So play on.
I guess so. So we have 15 minutes left. I wanted to talk about the XRP Ledger community. What are the benefits? Looking ahead, all of that type of thing. How do you see the XAO DAO supercharging the whole XRP Ledger ecosystem?
Well, as I think I mentioned at the beginning, so we actually have seen a lot of developers leaving the XRP Ledger and going to other chains purely because there was no support. Now, are we able to get those ones back? It's probably tough, but there's always up and new come developers, through comments with all the Aquarius programs that they do, and university as well. So that's where the XAO DAO is going to be quite, I guess from an educational point of view, we want to have captured those ones from the inception, from the beginning. So we want to make sure that we give them the full support, more than any other chains at the moment are doing. And that's one of my tasks, to visually communicate this through universities. And so, we're trying to organize, I guess, lectures to go out and speak to some of these new up and coming developers as well. I was at Apex. That's when we first sort of launched the first indication about the XAO DAO. We will be attending Swell as well, myself and Santiago. So it's a different level there. We're looking with touching base with the corporate, both for the XAO DAO and both for the XAO Hub. So yeah, there is obviously that community spirit that the XAO DAO needs to be involved, and at the same time we'll be looking at creating obviously community groups where they can actually approach different nationalities, different languages around the world, and basically explain to them about the XAO DAO and what it does.
I don't know how familiar you are, if you've been following Dom and Phil Kwok, the EZA brothers, the EZA brothers, but they are doing a heck of a job sparking community, and they're linking up with a lot of builders, and I think they're really pro XRP Ledger. So I could see you guys getting a little bit more inflow than you can even imagine from what we're seeing them doing, and that's really super exciting. Just how cohesive this whole thing could end up being. Throw dip a toe in there, and you just you gotta win. What kinds of projects could get funded through the XAO DAO? If you could give a couple of examples. I know you're going to come back and say it's going to be the community that's building it, but I just wondered your personal expectations or visions of what you see getting funded through this XAO DAO.
Well, let me put this to you. The first proposal we're probably going to be seeing coming through is virtually to fund a coffee shop in Tokyo.
Oh,
cool.
All right. I mean, so that's what I'm talking, left field altogether, right? So, I mean, obviously, we would like to see the developers staying on chain as well. And also, we'll probably also be looking at the XAO DAO assisting, and you mentioned about the validators, assisting the validators in some sort of shape or form, because, like I said, it's all voluntary work, and they're there day in, day out, right? So they don't get compensated for what they do. I'm not saying it's going to go down the path of monetary side of things, but we need to look at them as well. So, as I said, proposals can be fast and few, and they can be from left field. But I'm keen enough to see, obviously, the first couple of proposals coming through will more than likely will be about possibly metaverse and some apps, some sort of gaming apps coming through.
Mm-hmm. This sounds kind of similar, doesn't it, Simon, to our old friend Bitcoin Ben, with his hopes and dreams of creating something similar, where you got a group of people coming together and wanting to fund these ideas, that because there's so many different people with ideas to build, that was Bitcoin, that's not XRP, but there's a lot of people across the digital asset space that are wanting to build things, and that's why this kind of stuff is just so exciting to me.
And Melissa, but you're touching on something there real quick, and I'm going to reiterate it, as I said before, that ladies and gentlemen out there in this digital asset space, this is your way to expanding your investments. You know, this right here, you're going to fund a project or a coffee shop in Tokyo, right? As a group, you're going to choose where to put your, where we're going to put the money for the benefit of the group, because we all benefit from that, right? All wallets get a little bit at the end of the financial year. This is Main Street getting to be a part of the old / 2.0 corporate world, but it's not a top down. It's literally a bottom up. It's literally a bottom up that gets to say, we're going left and then we'll go right, and then we're going to have tea, coffee break, and then we're back to business, right? This is so powerful, that the XAO DAO right here, and others, that are going to come afterwards. This is really huge. This really gives the power back to the people, and taking our own financial literacy that we're learning and putting that to work into organizations like XAO DAO. It's absolute fire. So I'm telling you, people, that's a whole nother rabbit hole, but that's going to have to be a whole nother show, literally. So congratulations. This is an epic, very epic.
Thanks, man.
It is. We're blessed that you joined us tonight. Daniel would like to know, do you have a rough estimate on when XAO might go live?
Yes, we've got, so the Apple is going through stress test over the last couple of weeks.
Okay.
It looks like we're at the end of it. We wanted to launch it at the end of August, and I think that obviously out the window now, but we're probably looking at the end of the next couple of weeks, so probably mid-October.
Okay.
It's done. It's ready. I mean, I've seen how it works. I've seen the mock-up of it, so we like it. We got the thumbs up from our developers. So yeah.
And
Perfect.
so for those of you who are interested in learning more, you want to get on the wait list, I posted the link, XAODAO.io, in the chat. Go and I'm just going to put your email address in there. That way you'll get all of the information when they're ready to go, and how you can become a member when they start offering these memberships to the XAO DAO. I am a bit confused, initially where the initial funding is going to come from for the projects. So you mentioned the coffee shop, or maybe like where is that initial funding going to come from?
So obviously, to start the XAO DAO, we did get funded,
Okay.
obviously, and it's up to myself and Santiago to squeeze as much as we can from the developers to make sure that we don't waste all this money and have some sort of leftover, so we can start obviously small projects. So based on the intake of the membership and based on some funding that obviously we have in our little treasury, we should be able then to start going forward.
Perfect. Sorry, Simon. I have one more question. These are all questions that I've that pop in my head as we're talking. As far as transparency goes, when it comes to books, are the books going to be transparent for all of the XAO DAO members to see the inflows of the income and monies that are sent out?
Yes, that's the quick answer. So you virtually will have quarterly, monthly, and yearly, like a normal corporate institution. If you do want them, have them for your own purpose and reasons outside of those terms, you can still have them. But then you will need to pay for it, because obviously we will need to engage the accounting firm that does that for us at the end of each financial year. But otherwise, you will get to know everything. You will virtually, as I said, it's consider a corporate not a private, but a corporate on the stock market, which virtually you get everything.
I gotcha. Okay.
Yep.
Yes.
So you're saying if you want some deeper dives or whatever, you might end up having to pay for the accounting report type thing. But they would surely be able to, as a member of the DAO, be able to request information if they wanted more information on something or whatever.
Any information can be requested. If it's something that the DAO members, managers can provide, sure. If it's something that a third party needs to provide, like an accounting firms, then obviously it has to be done through that side.
One other little baby question is, will there be employees of the XAO DAO?
Well, if it grows that much, yes, definitely. Okay. And I guess it becomes, again, we can have a marketing team, we can have a financial team. I mean, the XAO DAO can be successful that may want to go into real estate and start buying, properties around the world. So,
you need people to handle that.
It's infinite what the XAO DAO can do, and it's infinite how many people you want to have on board, and based on dollars, I guess everything it's based on profits.
Well, right. we sure are. We're happy that to have your expertise along with Santiago's. It sounds like a perfect a combination of talent that can start something like this up, and then when the rest of us get involved, we can use our voices and shape it how we see fit, basically, is what it sounds like. So, yeah.
Yeah, no, and I guess, like you mentioned, if the whitelist, whoever wants to join the whitelist, they will be the first ones, obviously, to be made aware that the XAO DAO it's going live. So they'll be ready, they'll be the first one off the rank to actually become members.
Fantastic.
Love it.
Simon, any final questions?
Would it be advantageous for maybe the members to maybe your first order of business to create a stream of income to fund the treasury to go fund more other projects, say something in the DeFi space, or getting some liquidity into some type of yielding positions to get some daily returns in order to fund other projects? Would that be advantageous of the members to maybe take that as the vote, one of the first votes?
Yeah, they can, of course. I mean, we already thought of that ourselves.
I'm sure you did, given your background.
We will hope that they have brains like yourself, Simon, to members come up and say, let's invest into that DFI, let's invest into that token or something. I mean, obviously we don't want to take high risks, but we will actually be able to. We'll be able to guide the community members that they want to invest into different categories, and maybe we can have 10% risk, 20% secure, and whatever may be the case, split those kind of risk factors. But yeah, definitely we'll be looking at DFI.
Perfect. I have one more question.
Yep.
And this, if you can answer this in 30 seconds, great. If not, we'll save for another show. As a member, do they get any tax benefits to being a member of the DAO?
So you get a tax benefit if there is any losses, believe it or not.
I vote for loss one time. All right, thank you. Thank you, Fabio. I appreciate it very, very, very much.
No problem.
Yeah, everybody will end up getting earnings.
Yep.
Whether they have a gain or a loss.
And quickly, I'll say that if the individual does not want to retain those earnings, those funds are still theirs. They will stay into the treasury of the XAO DAO until the day that the member decides to provide the credentials.
Yeah.
That's good. Okay.
I'm so glad you went down that road. Again, a whole nother rabbit hole. But we got about 45 seconds left there, Melissa.
All right, guys. Hey, guys, we had 806 of you watching tonight. We really thank you for coming to this special episode of Dip a Toe. Fabio, we really appreciate you joining us. We look forward to chatting with you again. Do you have any final words for our audience?
Get onto the XAODAO.io, sign up on the whitelist, and support this ecosystem.
Do it, guys. All right, everybody. We love you. Have a great rest of the day.